Okay, you're good.
Thank you. Okay, hi, good afternoon, everyone. So this is Huan He, current research scientist in BEAT, and mainly working on data visualization, software development, and building some tools to support our researchers, clinicians, and also make some system, develop some system to support all those like language model training and building some system to support all our research. Yeah, it's my honor to present my research work in visualization and also its application in biomedical research. So let's get started. Okay. So my talk will cover the background of this analytics and data visualization, and I will present like studies related to this visualization application in biomedical research. Basically, that's what I did before. So let's go to the first one, the background. So for data visualization, I guess most of us already know this term. It's very popular, and a lot of us we also have our experience using data visualization to analyze data. So by definition, it's quite simple, and some charts, graphs, icons, maps, and different plots. Then we can identify some trends or outliers or some patterns. So this part is quite simple. So I cover much. Usually, I will just ask my students or others just wait and like data visualization 101 and provided by the web tab and the site to our EDU websites. We'll have a lot of like textbooks, slide presentation, especially some of the textbooks are popular. One of this one like data visualization in practice, I also use that one as one like start for this one. So that's the basic data visualization. And I guess maybe you also wonder what's informatics. So for this one, it's based on visualization, but provide a more interactive feature to help users to explore the data more. Sometimes we can visualize data, but it's the same thing. But with this one, we can have more insights into data. We can interact with data, explore it, find some new patterns, and we can summarize some knowledge, and then our model to explore the data more. Maybe in future we don't need the visualization. Receive the model. In short, it's basically data visualization plus interface and also those data analysis features like NLP, and model. It will help us a lot in those data analysis. And in fact, by combining these three together, sometimes we will make a system support our exploration. So that's the basic concept of data visualization and visual analytics. So let's go to the first case study. It's about the tablet data. It's about the numbers of tables. And by definition, I think this one is quite simple. Tablet data, we all know it's spreadsheet and Excel file. We have these tables. We have rows and columns. So sometimes maybe some CSV file, CSV file, and maybe some data file. But we know we want to visualize it. We want something like simple or get us understand what it is. Then you need to visualize it. The simplest one just if you have a small data set and it's very small, you can just use table to show it. And for example, like this question is comparing the browser performance on several tasks. So the easiest one, we can just put everything into a table. Then it's quite strict. We can see everything here by columns and by rows. But we can make it look nicer, right? Organize it into categories, and we can make different colors, font size, make it easier to interpret. That's what our data visualization can do. We know this one looks brighter, and it's maybe easier to understand. But why? So basically, we have four or sometimes three, maybe four hints for this generating the table. So first, we want to categorize those data into different groups. So that will help us, our reader, to understand it easier. And the second, we can remove some lines and boundaries and enlarge those boundaries between different columns to make each number easier to identify. And the third one, we use alignment, not left alignment or not right. Usually we will make the decimal alignment. That will make it easier interpret like those numbers. It's much easier to see, oh, this number is much larger than others. And also we want to highlight the key message here, like which one is faster. Then for the first one, the cold start, we can see Firefox much better. And for the non-cold start, is better. So we can easily see which are the key information we want to let our readers know. So this one is quite a small example, but our real life is more complex. So when we have a large data set, that's what our daily working with. So we want to see those trends or patterns, or maybe compare some different groups. Then we need to use some charts. So here I have an example to show the COVID-19 data set. So as you know, in the last 4 years, COVID-19 pandemic changes everything, and we have, especially in the first year, we have a lot of case report data, like number of cases, number of vaccines, or different numbers. So how can we visualize that to know the trends of those data? The simplest one is dashboards. So at the first year, I guess maybe you can also recall that every state, like every country and every county sometimes, and also some institutions will provide their own dashboard to show the trends, like how many cases recently, how many vaccines, or how many cases positive, those kind of numbers showing map and different colors. So we can identify some basic information from those dashboards, like how many cases there and what are the overall status. But if we want to know more, then it's quite limited. And in fact, we also made something similar, like this one, because previously I was in mail, so I made some dashboard to show how our mail sites have the different case situation in different our region. Like first, we have Florida sites, Arizona site, and also in Minnesota, we also have 3 sites. So we can see how those sites are different in those number of cases and the overall trends. But still, it's just something like very basic to show what's the current situation. Then we have this question like, how can we know how those things over time, and especially want to know the overall picture of changes over time. And we also want to compare with other regional differences, like compare with Texas, how Minnesota's overall situation looks like. Then we want to design something different for this one. So first of all, we need to have a new indicator. Not only those number of cases, we have this called CRRW status. Basically, it's just to compare the number of cases for 100 cases, and also the number compared with last week. So by combining these 2 indicators, we use 3 colors to represent the current situation. And we just use 3 colors like the traffic light. If it's green, then it's good to go. And if it's red, then something wrong, and it's dangerous. So we just say that one. And if it's orange, then maybe we have this color and this indicator to measure how the current trend. Okay. And we also made this, we call like a ribbon chart or maybe line chart. Basically, it shows all 3 indicators in one chart. So first we plot the blue bar or the blue line as the number of, we call like CR 7 days, 100K, and another line shows the purple one. And between these 2 lines, we fill the 2 lines with some color using the CRW status. Then we can see as long as it shows red, that means over that time, something is danger, maybe the case increase fast, or maybe the total number of positive cases is large. We can identify different ranges in the whole time. And just one figure, we can show the overall trends, like how things change. And in fact, we have a quick demo showing this one based on that trend chart and also those colors. Like you can see all this interface, just 3 colors. Like every time when we see a red color, that indicates, oh, in this region, something wrong, and maybe the case increase a lot. And if it's green, then it's relatively safe. Then we can see the calendar map. Basically, that covers the whole 4 or 3 years from 2020 to most year. So from the 2020 here to the 2023 here. So we can see all those 3 years how things changed. And we can identify like there are 4 or maybe 5 peaks of the outbreak. And we can also have those maps and the different numbers added on this map dashboard to help you understand how things changes over time. And this one is an example. That one it's let's see here. Oh yeah, and in fact, the ribbon chart we can add and multiply chart together on one interface, so we can compare the overall time changes over time and between different regions. Like the one shows here, we compare like Texas, Connecticut, and also Minnesota. We can see they all have similar 3 different peaks, or maybe 3 peaks, or maybe 3 different patterns. Like in the 2020 winter, every state just have a peak. And then in the 2021 winter, it's a very large, and until 2022 summer, things go smooth and maybe getting better. So we can identify this pattern across all the states. And also we can identify some small difference, like for example, connect up to this peak comes maybe a little early in Texas, much earlier than Minnesota, like they have like almost a 1 month gap. So we can see how this maybe represents a different spread pattern of speed. So that's something we can use this chart to tell. So based on this one, we can have a quick summarization for this case study. So when we have those tabular data, so when it is small, then we just use the table to show it. But make sure you make it clear that group things into category and highlight those key information. And the second one, if we have larger data size, the medium size or maybe a little large, then we design some charts, and especially we design some measurements to show what you want to present to the reader to make it easier to identify on the charts, not just showing those raw numbers, but you can combine different things together to tell a story. Then let's move to the second case study. The second one is about like annotated corpus data, and I also noted that it's where the model training starts. So basically, it's related to the text annotation. So as we all know, like when we want to train some models, we have data, and especially for NLP, we need to have those annotated data. But this annotation process is quite long. We do have a lot of annotators, and they need to have agreement. And we also have education, and to final round of review, then we can have the. Usually this part will take a very long time, and we have a question like, how can we improve this process by using visual analytics? Maybe we can make it easier, especially for annotators, make it easier for them to do the annotation. The first thing, since it's in the annotation corpus, so first we need to check some annotation tool. So in fact, there are so many annotation tools there on the internet. So last time we have a review on the existing tool. In fact, there are more than 100 annotation tools. A lot of them are open source, but also some closed source version. And you can see most of them provide some basic information, basic visualization to show those annotated corpus, like the MAE or YADA, so you can show those highlighted tags and help you to identify this part, which part is annotated. And the most popular one is called this one Brett, and it will give you a very nice looking visualization of the annotated corpus, and also show those links between different entities and events, and also they can show the attributes. But that also makes the visualization looks quite complex. And another one, it's as you can see, it's just a data visualization. It's showing the data, but basically you don't have much things you can do with the data, and you can just see it or watch it. So that's why we want to propose a different way to help user further explore it. So we developed the tool, and based on some web-based front-end technology, and we provide a multiply view to view or explore the data from different aspects. And it's like serverless application, so we don't need to install anything, and it can run anywhere as long as we have a Chrome. So the first one for the visualization, I guess it's similar like other tool. We use those colored labels to show those entities. We draw those lines between different entities to show the links. But in addition to that, we also provide those hover function, like when we hover on entities or links, it will show the attributes. And when we click on each entity, it will show some context menu to help us to identify whether we can do some linking, or maybe we can delete, or maybe we can modify something. So we can use those interactive feature to help user better explore the annotated data. But that's just the basic interactive design. In addition to that, we also provide more different ways to help user to explore it more. The first one is we can visualize the document in the Brite cell. So we just import all our annotations through Brite, and we can visualize it into the Brite cell. Then it's better for the publication. It can generate nice figures for including the paper. And also for those large chunks of text, we can split the long text or document into sentences. So instead of working on a large paragraph, user can also work on each individual sentence and identify the entities or the links between sentences. So that also makes the annotator life easier. It can be helpful to pass those long documents. And also we will run those real-time analysis in the backend. While user do the annotation, we will run the analysis and get some statistics, like how many tags are annotated in which document, and also how many tags are annotated for each tag and in which document, and we can generate this like a heat map and also some small bar chart to show how the current annotation progress. Then the user will know, oh, maybe for a document we didn't annotate a lot tags, maybe there are some missing, or maybe for some tags we have very unbalanced annotation. Then we can more focus on view those tags. So we provide those visualization to help user understand their annotation. And also if we have multiply annotations like a golden standard or maybe generated by some NLP system, we can compare the golden standard or the annotation between 2 or maybe 3 different annotations to analyze the errors between those. Especially we provide some bar charts and a heat map to show different types of errors in different categories. And especially we can show the distribution of those errors in different types of tasks. Then we can identify, oh, maybe for some annotation, we have too many unknown, or maybe we have so many false positive errors. Then we can go back and revise our annotation, or maybe improve our system. And also we can generate a scatter plot using the semantics embedding to see how those errors are distributed semantically. Then we can maybe revise our guideline, or sometimes we revise our annotation of the system. So we can provide those wheels to help user to further explore those annotations. So in a quick summary, so for those corpus data, so first one, we can provide many interactive features to help them understand and explore the data. And the second one, we can provide multiply wheels to help them to understand the data from different aspects, especially if the data have a lot of rich information, then we can provide multiply wheels to analyze this data from different aspects, like the text data. So yeah, so that's, I guess, for the second study. Then the last one, it's I call it like a large scale data and the adolescent knowledge. So that's the recent work we did for the publication visualization. So the background, I guess maybe a lot of people already know, so I will repeat it quickly. So as you know, the publications increase so fast, and every year we have more than 1 million papers indexed per PubMed. If it's in Web of Science or other search engine, that will be definitely maybe doubled, 2 million or 3 million. And if we search anything in those search engine, all we get is an endless list. We need to scroll down, go to next page, and then review them one by one to get understanding what's the topics, what are the distribution of those studies. So it's quite painful. And usually maybe for me, I will just read like the first or 3 pages and then just quit. So it's quite challenging here to understand how the topics are distributed. So for me, I have a question like, can we like enhance this experience of the search engine by using large language model and the visual analytics to make our life easier? So that's why we did this design. We built a pipeline and based on some large language models, and also we designed a visual analytics system to help user to explore. So first we collect a lot of publication data from PubMed and ICIT, and then we extract those key information like title, abstract, and journal, year, and then we index them using like Informatics search and different search engine. And the next one, we use large language model and other models to generate embedding based on their title and abstract. Then we run dimension reduction to get the 2D representation of those high dimension data. After those steps, we index everything into a local database. And we also can provide those large language model-based chatbot to the front end. Then we can visualize the whole picture of the search result and also provide some large language model-based chat service. So for the visual design part, I guess maybe this one is showed several times. So basically for the visualization, we can visualize all the papers into points. So each point is one paper, and its coordination, it's embedding of the 2D embedding. And so the similar cluster will represent a similar topic or similar papers. And each paper is colored by its year. And we can also change that by user-specific color, or maybe by their journal, or maybe by different attributes. Also, for the size, currently we mapped to the citation, the number of citation, and the user can also change that to different operator. So in addition to those visualization, we also provide some interactive feature, like a user can draw a circle and a selection, and they can hover on each point to see what's on the topic. And they can also navigate on this mini map to go to different regions to help them to explore. So for this one, we also have a quick demo. Oh yeah, so this is quick demo of our system. So as you can see, we can zoom in and zoom out to the system. When mouse hover on a point, we can see some basic information like the title, abstract, and some information. And we also provide a timeline to help user to see how those big cluster forms over time. When we drag the bar of the year, we can see some new colors pop up on those empty area. Then we can see some new topics or new clusters. And we can see the whole map are filled by all different kinds of studies. Then if we want to get more understanding of this space, we can do searching by just using text search. Like we can search COVID, it will highlight those matched records on this map, and all the rest of points will be rendered into gray color. Then we can identify some studies, like for this one, we can use myeloma studies and add some drug name. Then we can identify, there are 2 clusters related to this disease and this drug. Then we can further check what are the topics, and then we can go to details. And also for this one, if we want to dive in, then we can zoom in and find some interesting cluster. Then we can draw some polygon to select this cluster. And our system will automatically calculate how many papers are in this cluster, what are the topics, and all the topics and selections are listed on the right. For those topics, currently we just use the match terms, the frequency of the match terms of the selection. And we can see their statistics on the right. We can check their title, statistics, and also the match term. And for here, I think we have a recent demo to show our new feature for the chatbot. So for here, we can type a new drug name, tiropated. I think it's a drug for diabetes treatment. So when we search this one, we can find, there are some 8 points on this map, and we can see they are very close to each other. Then we can select them and use the chatbot backend. Then we can start ask question.
Please summarize the PMID, the clinical trial number, phase, treatment arm, and control arm of these papers into a table.
Yeah, and also we can use voice recognition to speech, and the system will automatically recognize, and then we can ask ChatGPT or different model to answer this question. As you can see, it can summarize and understand our question and make it into a table, like just following our specification. And also we can ask
please add 2 more columns, the number of participants and the conclusion.
Yeah, we can ask those follow-up questions to like GPT or other model to further revise its answer. And all the answers are based on our selection, because we send all the title, abstract, and those information into our chatbot. So they will generate a context information for this conversation. Then when ChatGPT or other models generating an answer, it will extract those key information in the abstract to answer this question. And as you can see, it's adding up 2 more columns and summarize everything that it wants. And we can keep asking more questions.
Based on the conclusions of these papers, please summarize the overall safety profile of the treatment.
Yeah, so this one definitely ChatGPT can do. So we can ask a further question, summarization, those kind of things. So I think currently we can also change the backend to different model. And we can compare their performance. Like this one is based on Google Gemini. And we can change it to like GPT-4o, GPT-4t, or maybe Claude 3 to get a comparison and maybe just the expression, like what's the difference between different models. And in fact, for this answer, I guess maybe for me, I feel it's quite sounds good to me. Yeah, so that's the basis of our system. And currently we are still working on the development and some new features for this one. Later, I guess we will have a new demo to have demonstrated those features. Yeah, so next one. Oh yeah. So with our this system, so not only the data set shown before, we can also import other user created data sets. Like this one, we can use the PD1 or PDL1. It's a PubMed query. Then we can retrieve like 46,000 papers, and then we can run our pipeline to get the embeddings, image reduction, and generate these plots and import to our system. And within our tool, we can identify some topics, like for example, when we search this drug name, it can identify all this maybe within this area. And we can also find this drug also used maybe in different topics, such as liver, breast, myeloma, long skin, and even there is one study related to HIV for this drug. So we can identify those different topics on this map by using searching and this visualization. I hope this one can be helpful to help us to understand the topic distribution. And also we can change the data set by different searching query. Like this one, we can show the whole all the papers published by in Nature and Science in the past 100 years. And definitely there's a lot of 265,000 papers there. And in this figure, we can identify like because we encolored all the points using its publication year. So if the color is dark, like this purple or green, purple or maybe blue, it represents paper published like 50 years ago or 70 years ago. So we can identify those research trends or published trends. Those journals are also changing. For those papers in this area, currently it's quite just a few papers published recent year. But in this area, we can see it's quite hot, and those red color and white color it represent those papers published in last 20 years. And using our tool, we can identify like this whole area. It's related to like DNA, RNA, cell structure, and sequencing, biology related studies. And then also we can find this cluster. It's just away from the cluster. It's related to like space, lunar, Mars, and astronomy, those kind of different areas. And also we can identify this part is related to Alzheimer's disease. When we search Alzheimer's, in fact, this part will be highlighted. And we can see different clusters, in fact, represents those different topics. And also we can identify this cluster is related to SARS and COVID. Similarly, we can also find those like function, different virus, and also those like atmosphere or climate in this part. For other regions, I think it's also represents some topics, but currently we are working on a topic modeling method to identify those topics automatically. We don't need to draw those polygons one by one to see what are they. So that's one example. Another is also we are trying to do is, in addition to publication, in fact, we can embedding anything. As long as it's a text, then we can run some embedding. Like this one, we have a data set search engine called DataMed. We indexed all the PubMed and different biomedical data sets. Then we have those text data of those data sets. We run embeddings and emission reduction to get the embedding of all the data sets. Then we can see, oh, it's quite, because we index a lot of data from clinical trials, then we can see all those clinical trials are surrounded here. and then followed by other regions that's from different data sources. And some of them have some overlap. In fact, there's a lot of overlap there, but the resolution here cannot see it clearly. Then we can identify, or maybe some studies or some research field, they are exist in both like trials and also in maybe different data sets. When we do the research, we can search two different data sources to get more understanding. And also we can use some searching to filtering those more data sets in this map. But this one just a static figure. And another one is for the embedding, we can also embed those patients using their EHR data or maybe their visits data. Like this one, we get data from Pakistan database, and we convert all their visits or diagnosis in their ICD code and use the ICD code to generate embedding. And we can see some clusters of similar patients with a similar diagnosis or maybe treatment. For the details of the method, I'm not really sure, but the visualization definitely shows something like very interesting, like maybe some small clusters, maybe it's like some rare disease or maybe some different conditions. Then we can further investigate what are the features. So this one is just an ongoing project, so you can see there's no color for this map, just showing everything. So in fact, in addition to patients and data sets, we can also embed in different things like genes or drugs into this high dimension data and run dimension reduction to visualize. Then we can see maybe some different patterns and what are the linkage between different data sets. We are currently working on that and hope we can get some updates. Okay, I guess that's the main content. So I have a few takeaways. The first one is just the tabular data. Data is small, then we just use the table, but make sure you make it clear and let it easier to understand. And if it's large, we can design some charts. And for text or complex data, the interactivity is very important to help user to explore the data, and we can provide multiple views to understand the data better. And for large-scale data, just like our back visualization, we want to show an overview to help users to have a whole picture of the overall distribution. That's it, very important to understand what's the whole picture of the large data set. And also we try to leverage those NLP and the large model to help us to further explore the very large data set. Because for human like us, definitely I think definitely for me, I cannot read all the maybe 100 pages of the search results. I will just read for 2 or 3. Yeah, I guess that's all the takeaways. Yeah, thank you. Any questions? Yeah.
First of all, it's a fantastic talk. Thank you, Juan. So for the final method that you showed, the overall like the visualization method of the paper embeddings,
yeah,
is the primary novelty of the method the interactivity of the software, or is there some kind of, because I thought what is the main novelty of like that method?
Yeah, right. So usually the novelty can be different for different stage. So first one in the embedding method, we are not computer scientists, so we didn't propose any new embedding method. But by combining the embedding method and the visualization and also some interactive feature together, we can provide some insights into the large data set. So usually first the combination and the insights can be our contribution. So that's something we can provide not only just embedding everything, but we can find something new or something maybe we didn't see before. So those insights are very important. So that's major contribution. And
A fantastic method. Like it looks beautiful.
yeah.
I think one main difference to me, you used to search PubMed, you get a list of paper. That's each paper is a lot. But you don't have the whole picture of all those 5,000 paper returned. You don't know how they distribute in this entire semantic space. But now we have a way for you to view the entire semantic space, and then you can pick whatever you're interested in. Hopefully this visualization can quickly guide you to the papers or collection of papers or some even details inside the paper much more efficiently.
This is great. I like
Yeah,
that.
I actually do have this question is really, do you think this is something going to replace PubMed? That's my main question.
Well, that replace PubMed. Like, how computationally intensive is this method?
Yeah, you can tell the computation
Yeah,
behind this.
so, yeah, right. So in fact, the computation part will happens like in first the embedding. So that's the first part. And the second one is the dimension reduction. So usually that's the most time consuming part. In our case, we have run those two parts on the 36 million, the whole PubMed data set. Usually the embedding will just take half a day, like 12 hours or 13 hours. But the embedding dimension reduction will take the whole day. So that part will.
That's like a pre-compute.
Oh, yeah, so then you can just search it afterwards.
But then if you have new paper coming, you either have to
You do it.
redo it, or we are having ways to more like a update on the fly, but that lose some of those accuracy of the email. But like Juan said, right now we actually can put 36 million paper all in one map.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And you literally can do search just within this whole collection rather than go to PubMed potentially. So that's why my question is this something, I don't know how user will feel it, because my feeling is we've been seeing PubMed for how many years? I mean, 50 years only. Like it's always the list of articles. Then with new large language model, you can ask questions, you can do visualization. Maybe it's the time to change a little bit how we actually going to see all those knowledge. And plus, I think we still give the list of paper, you still can search.
Yeah, I think this is maybe just a different, like you can click a different tab in PubMed and show this or something.
Because if you go to the interface, right, we do, you can search basically.
Yeah, right.
You can show up the brain stuff you built up.
Yeah.
That's what I. So I was thinking you still can do the keyword search, still get a list of paper, but in addition, you also get this visualization.
Yeah, that would be nice.
It's not.
Is this available online?
We have one version, the small one, like this green one. I was just presenting today. Can you refresh it? Yeah, so you can do a search. This is on the spin up. You can do a search. If you do a search, like a single cell, then you get the list of paper. But you still see the visualization on the right. So yeah. So this is the if you go, this is basically we are involved in the brain initiative project. So the PO asked, hey, US have this brain initiative, UK also have a human brain project. How are those two big initiatives different in terms of topics or things? Yeah, then one developed this, you can explain this.
So maybe for the data part, Julian also helps with the data cleaning and those things. Let me make it maybe bigger. So we can see there are some 3 colors on this map: the red one, blue one, and just a few blue one, and also some green one. The red one represents those papers like supported by Brain or Beacon project or Brain initiative.
US brain initiative is much bigger than Beacon, yeah.
Yeah, and the green one represents those supported by the UK Human Brain Project. And yeah, we can see some distribution difference here, like some of the areas are overlapped with each other, like those parts, but we can also identify like this part. It's quite like unique for the UK project. They have published a lot of paper on this area, but very few paper published by.
So about 7,000 from US, about 2,000 from UK, but we don't know how much money both countries spent. I guess the US one is much more money. But then the PO is asking like, hey, for example, this is the area only have US, so we can select it. You can use the tool, select it. And then you can see what is this exactly about. So for example, if you click mesh 10, it's about this new photo acoustic techniques, which the UK brain project didn't study at all. At least answer some of, didn't answer all the questions from PO, but at least give them some ways to explore. And the potential, I think we could also add the impacts of those studies from a consortium like citations, for example, total number of citations, grants. Yeah.
Thought about like, does it include affiliations? Like
We could.
author affiliations?
We could, it has all the information, but right now so I showed to some collaborators, some people, PI want to see their own collection of paper where they spread around. Like, I think definitely you will see, like I used to work on like a rule-based approach or the machine learning, deep learning, large language model, then on the different disease area, cancer, create your own semantic map, right? But I still want to hear what do you guys think? Any thoughts on this? If possible, we should spend more effort
No, bro,
developing.
I think it's crazy, man. This is great. Tell me you've published this. Like, like,
What?
have you submitted it? Is it in paper form?
Submit the abstract.
Like, come on, man, this is great.
But there's still a lot of technical difficulty, like a rendering that 36 million dots is that's why Juan and the developers being Brian is also, so the 36 million loading whole thing will be an issue, so we have to, for example, select a representative, only load like 2 million, that's actually fine, but when you zoom in, it load more dots. So we just fix that. And then Brian is working on, so you have the, you select, you do a search on 36 million, but you get 5,000 papers. But if you look at on the map of 36 million, it's very sparse. So he's working on relayout just for that 5,000, quick relayout just for that 5,000 generate semantic map without retraining this whole thing. So all those like different things. That's why I thought if more people agree with Juan, this is something we should spend a lot of time. It have the potential to replace PubMed. We need more people to help. And we can build a big team to work on each of those little functions, right? One can lead a big team to really make it.
Replacing PubMed might be a little.
At least it's complementary, right?
Yeah, complimentary. Yeah, no, like I think you guys should apply for federal funding.
Actually, for federal funding, maybe it can be a part of NIH PubMed.
Yeah, dude.
After the search, you visualize.
But the other thing I think we also think this has a lot of interest because, like say, we also have, at Huan and I, we also talk about a lot of ideas for different small papers. I think maybe someone, if you're interested, we can talk about. For example, Zhiyuan is working on visualizing all the clinical trials. Each dot is a trial, but then each dot could be a drug, right? You look at how the drug similar, how the gene similar on this map. But then even for ontology, we talked about so hundreds of biomedical ontology, all the concept. But we can put all those hundreds of ontology in one map just to see how those ontology overlap with each other or things like that. I just feel each of them can be a paper or something. And if someone's interested to work with Juan on this, basically we can prepare the data, we can run this algorithm, then do something interesting to visualize all those things.
I just have a question about the dimension reduction. You said like it's very difficult to like if I just have some blue paper and I want to see where it lands. It's not actually a trivial task, but I was just wondering like what is it that makes it difficult and like what kind of dimension reduction is
Yeah, right. I guess the most difficult part with the image reduction currently, it's the algorithm we use, like maybe large base and UMAP and Disney. Usually they will run the whole bunch of data or the whole trunk of the data together to get the image reduction because it's calculates the similarity of different points. That means when new data comes, we need to merge them into the original, the previous one together. So that means like we have more data, the data size increase, then the running time will also increase. So currently there are some way like we call streaming image reduction. Like when we have new data, we will run image reduction using an existing model of those data to get the image reduction results. Just like those machine learning models, we can train a model and use a model to classify input data. So that's something similar, but current image reduction have some limited support for that. In fact, there are some method like, for example, the autoencoder, they can also do image reduction. We can train those neural network to get the image reduction. But it also depends on what's the training data is. If your training data doesn't have some knowledge, the new data you cannot get the correct image reduction result. So for example, if we train the data based on all the papers before 2019 or before 2020, then it cannot recognize the exact COVID this term. But then maybe it can understand some similar terms, like maybe those syndromes or maybe some symptoms. It can be divided into the similar space. But for the term itself, it will cannot be directly embedded to the correct space. So that's some limitation. Currently, I guess maybe we also use those large language model to get the embedding. So that's also maybe something we can try, like those Llama 3 embedding or maybe other embeddings. Yeah.
It would be great if anyone can send one about the features you want to see on the literature.
Yeah,
It's
then we
also
can
good to
talk
collect the
about-
feedback from you.
Yeah, but we also have a question on
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I guess, yeah, thank you for this comment. I guess, yeah, I didn't read his publication before. Yeah, maybe later we can check.
Like going in the book.
Yeah, I guess I need to link that. Oh,
Yeah, we should collaborate more with the
yeah,
next.
yeah, thank you so much.
So the other idea, I was also thinking. We're also thinking about some commercial values of this, of course. The one immediate idea, one I will discuss is a journal like Science 100 years of anniversary. We want to see a nice diagram of all the papers they published. Or the Yale 150 years of anniversary for medical school, then all the papers generated.
Yeah, right.
Charge people like $100 per generation.
$100.
You can go higher.
Yeah, maybe just free. Yeah, we can try from different sources. Yeah, yeah.
I've heard there's an Apple Vision Pro somewhere around. What are your plans for the third dimension?
Yeah, in fact, we tried and
Where's our Apple Vision
yeah,
Pro?
in our office. One of the
That
drawers.
still has it? Okay.
Yeah, we have that, and in fact we tried the how it looks like in the Vision Pro, but it's a web-based application, so it's very similar like you see on the monitor.
Two different.
So it doesn't, maybe you should make it 3D, was that better?
Yeah, that may help, like you are going to in the galaxy and see how things are. Yeah,
Might need a different dimension reduction algorithm. I don't know if TDs need
Yeah.
those.
so that's maybe something we can do. Another one
Oh,
is.
you showed me the 3D
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah, we have the 3D. But everything is presented is through this browser, so it's still 2D. But we can see it like 3D.
To make a native app.
Yeah, I think it's better to make it as an app, not a web application. Yeah, using an app will be better.
Yeah, this is about just the search part. Is that I'm not I don't know too much about how the search is implemented. I feel like if this were to actually like be a contender for replacing PubMed, it would have to have a good algorithm for ranking the papers. Right now, how is the search operating?
Yeah, the current search is quite simple, just the BM25 algorithm to get the similarity by tokens. So it's the most benefit is fast, so it's run fast. In fact, the current elective search, not elective search, the searching is happens in your browser. So we don't have a server to support that. But for the 36 million, we need to have a like elective search to support those searching. But still, the search is quite different from PubMed search. It's just like a token based or the similarity based. Like in PubMed, I know they have those master enhancement. Yeah.
So it's also possible actually you call the PubMed API to the search. You can, and the search result will be same as PubMed. But then the problem is the speed. Like you transfer 20,000 PubMed ID over PubMed to here and load it, and it's actually slower. That's the problem. Otherwise, we also talk about we really want to make the search return the same result as PubMed.
So you also had this sort of timeline where you could see like, papers popping.
Yeah, right. So we have the timeline for this one as well. Yeah, like for this Brain initiative, we can drag or maybe to. So currently, this data set cover like smoke. Maybe this one not really clear. So when we drag this one here, you can see some points just pop up, and as time goes by, more points shows. Yeah, but this one only contains 10 years data, so maybe not that obvious. But we can see at the beginning maybe a lot of like green dots there, right?
Now Bing is helping actually label those class with topics. So when you move, the topic will pop up too, like what are this class topic.
So my question is like, let's say that you did an exercise where you saw what an embedding model would have, say, looked like before 2010 before machine learning really took off, before like COVID popped up. Would you expect like the landscape to be significantly different from what you see here?
Yeah, that's a question. I feel like currently it's the 2D dimension reduction result. It's based on TCP of many large ways. So every time when we run the algorithm, it will be some small difference. So even the embedding itself is the same, but the dimension reduction will be a little different. Even we can fix some parameters, but still some difference. It's the randomness of the algorithm itself decided that part. Yeah. So yeah, I guess maybe for that, if we have some rules to fix that, then we will it. Yeah, currently, it's yeah, every time it will be some difference.
Yeah, the question.
The other,
Thanks again.
yeah, thank you.